Hey there, welcome to Kimberly Savage's Media News. I'm your host, Kimberly Savage. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into my media usage from Wednesday, May 13th. On that day, I spent 6.9 hours on media consumption. I made this chart, this pie graph, to show where all of my media consumption went, and I'm going to explain that to you now. The most media consumption I had that day, almost half of it was from TV watching. I spent all that TV watching on Netflix, Hulu, and my Xfinity. After that, it was on social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Beyond that, text messages took up most of my time. I had 27 inbound and 17 outbound. I calculated them out to be about a minute each, so 44 minutes of texting. After that, it was my phone calls to my supervisor, my family. Those all equaled up to 42 minutes. Beyond that, it was apps that I used on my phone, things like Pandora, Snapchat, and YouTube. That all equaled to about 25 minutes total combined. Even though I was trying to be as objective as possible with my record taking, I feel like it might be skewed a little bit. That's because I said 6.9 hours total, but some of those times it was a combination of two media sources. For example, when I was watching TV later that day, I was on both Facebook and Instagram at the same time. I'm sure I got a couple of text messages here and there as well. So a couple of those little situations are combined. Another thing is I'm out of work right now. With coronavirus, a lot of people are out of work. I am one of them. So I'm sure that my media consumption has gone up pretty dramatically since I've been out of work. Lastly, that day, Wednesday, I didn't focus on schoolwork at all. I took the day off that day, and if I hadn't, my media would have looked a little bit different. I would have been on my desktop computer, online, on the internet, a fair amount more. But we're going to disregard that for the point of this study. So although the typology of uses and gratification is a bit outdated and only focused on the television, I found no issue at all with relating it to my own log from that day. In fact, out of the 8 potential gratifications from Rubin's typology, I found that 5 applied to me. First, passing time. Unlike others, I don't really use my Facebook and Instagram to chat with other people. I use it more for just passing the time. Honestly, I'll sit there and I'll blindly scroll through my newsfeed. It's almost pathetic. But it's just passing time. Another one, escape. I was doing yard work that day, and I know at some point in the middle of the day I did come in to get away from a little bit of that and watch just a TV show. Just escape for a few minutes. Enjoyment. The remainder of the TV time that I had was used for enjoyment. My boyfriend and I watched a movie, The Beach Bum, at the end of the day. That was about 90 minutes. We just wanted to unwind a little bit. Number 5, social interaction. My phone calls, texts, and Snapchat are what I'm going to put in the category of social interaction. I use them as a basis for connecting with others. And lastly, relaxation. That night specifically, I was using my Pandora and my YouTube to relax. When I'm showering at night, it's usually when I try to recap my day. It wasn't the best day for me. So I was kind of trying to drown out my thoughts. I was listening to my music on Pandora. One of the songs didn't come up on Pandora, so I ended up listening to it on YouTube. All in all, I would say that this, although supremely focused on outdated media, stands the test of time and has a way of applying to current day situations. I think this is because although the media changes over time, the things that affect us and make us turn to media, they don't. So stresses, desire for entertainment, things of that nature, we're always going to have those, just the media changes over time. Where we turn to changes. The uses and gratification theory is by far my favorite one this week. Media ecology, I I'm kind of on the fence with the whole medium, um, the medium is the message. I think it's part of the message, but I really do think that the information put out is really a great portion of the message as well. I just really couldn't get a grasp on that one. Semiotics, what Bart said about the signs and signifieds and signifier, I completely understood that, but when he got to his denotative system, he really lost me. I wanted so badly to like that one particular theory. That was one that I was actually really looking forward to covering. I was surprised that I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Cultural studies, I really enjoyed that one, that theory. I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it definitely pertained to our society today. We're definitely more likely to see news and receive news that is culturally applicable to ourselves. And cultivation theory, I thought that was really interesting. I loved that one. I found Gerbner's take on us watching violence on TV and then feeling like it applies more in our own lives and society. I thought that was really interesting, and I did think that applies. I don't really watch too many crime TV shows, but I do listen to a crime podcast on my way to and from work, and I think that it makes me definitely think about those things a little more escalated than they are in reality. But to wrap up my presentation, I just wanted to say, in total, the 6.9 hours of media usage, it really threw me off. I didn't think it was anywhere close to that, if I'm going to be honest. And if that's what I average every day, that's actually more than I average as far as sleep is concerned. And that I found a little bit frightening. But I think, a completely unrelated note, I think that's something I'm gonna have to work on. I don't necessarily think that the media usage is all that. I think it can be good. I think it can be bad. But that's really wrapping up. I hope you have a great week.